Here is a peer review that focuses on higher order concerns, such as plagiarism, conciseness, and strength of argument. One could argue, though, that law enforcement cannot be everywhere, and therefore there is no consequence of committing a crime, but there is plenty of benefit in certain situations. I counter this with the example of the Panopticon. The Panopticon was the design of a prison by Jeremy Bentham. It was a circular building with the prisoners' cells located around the outer edge, a watchtower located in the dead center, and communal areas in between. This prison design allowed whomever was in the watchtower to see every single inch of the prison, the trick being that the prisoners could not see into the watchtower. Theoretically, every prisoner would behave according to the prison's rules because at any time they face a threat of being watched, and therefore the threat of punishment regardless of whether or not there was actually anyone watching them. This prison design was never actually executed by Bentham, but the theory behind it, panopticism, has led to the use of closed-circuit television and various other forms of surveillance that make one feel the need to follow laws regardless of the known physical presence of an authority figure. Panopticism poses the idea that people will be on their best behavior if they do not know when they are being watched, and with the technology and structure of today's world, i.e. stoplight cameras, surveillance cameras, internet search history, the theory is more prevalent than ever, and so much of our behavior, whether or not authority is present, is due to the coercion of law. Okay, I think I'm going to change could to might, just to improve or connote what you mean a little bit better, I think. And take away and because it's unnecessary in the sentence. A comma is needed here. For specificity, after committing a crime, I'm going to add if not under surveillance, just to improve clarity. And this last part to the sentence, but there is plenty of benefit in certain situations, is a bit vague. I'm not sure if this is what you're countering with or what the argument against your thesis is saying. Please clarify this last statement. In this sentence, panopticon, the P in panopticon should be capitalized. You use the tense, the past tense was here, was the design, and was a circular building, but it seems that the present tense is necessary. So is, and here. Here, it looks like you need a citation to avoid plagiarism. I noticed when I was reading this particular sentence that it was very long and just a bit obscure. So for clarity, I'm going to break it apart, make it more concise and easier for the reader to understand. I'm going to get rid of this section. And add this. In fact, I'm going to break this up into two sentences. Okay, and get rid of this. And capitalize the T here to make this the second sentence. So that the sentence makes sense. I'm going to add existed. And delete this. and add this as well. Okay, so now that sentence is broken into two and is a lot more clear. In this sentence, you say the design was never actually executed by Bentham, but in reality, the design was executed, but rather the building was never built. So you might want to rephrase that just for clarity. This sentence, known physical is just a little bit unnecessary, so get rid of that. Again, some extra words that don't really further your idea, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to add this so the sentence makes a little bit more sense. Connotes what you mean. Okay, and that's the extent of my revisions. I have a few additional notes that I'll make. So according to your definition of coercion, is this actually intimidation? Try and connect this idea back to your interpretation of coercion. Also, can there be such a thing as passive intimidation? Could this paragraph be split into two paragraphs, with one describing the panopticon and another paralleling it to an analogous real-life situation? Is internet search history really preventing people from committing crimes? And in practice, surveillance cameras and closed-circuit televisions are actively watched to ensure that people don't commit crimes. Is this really an example of the type of latent coercion of which you speak? Thank you for allowing me to revise your paper. I hope that my suggestions were helpful and you'll be successful in your revision process.